U.S. Congresswoman out of the state of Georgia. She's showing nude pics again of, well, none other than Hunter Biden. She really likes to do this. Here it is.
And it's marked out.
Mr. Chairman, point of parliamentary inquiry.
Showing proof of Mann Act violations. Democrats should not be offended by pictures that black out.
Have I been recognized?
They should be offended by
point of parliamentary inquiry.
trafficking.
Mr. Chairman,
state your point.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chairman. On July 26th, I sent you a letter about the last time this happened when the gentlelady introduced before this committee without any notice to anyone nude photos, pornographic images that were completely irrelevant to the purpose of the hearing itself. And my question to you is, are members allowed to simply put up sensationalistic, voyeuristic, pornographic images if they're not relevant to the actual object of the legislative proceeding? I want a parliamentary ruling on that.
Mr. Raskin, that's probably part of the questioning for Mr. Biden, violations of the Mann Act. Ms. Green's led on that issue.
No, this is
these guys are feckless. I mean, damn. All right, let's get to it. Per the Daily Beast, Hunter Biden yesterday morning, made an unexpected appearance at the House Oversight Committee. This was a committee hearing considering whether he should be held in contempt of the US Congress, something that Republicans obviously are okay with as long as it is Trump doing it. Biden had actually walked out of the room moments before Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene began speaking, leading her to call him a coward. Here it is.
Gentleman's time's expired. Chair recognizes Ms. Green from Georgia for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, Hunter. Apparently you're afraid of my words.
Whoa! Oh.
I'd like to reclaim my time, Mr. Chairman.
Burst their bubble. Wow, that's too bad.
This is the champion of a congressional district in Georgia and many bigots around the nation. I mean, let's not forget, she was one of the keynote speakers for an actual white supremacist conference in Florida. All right, put him up. Besides Representative Jamie Raskins, Democrat, objections to the images being shown, Raskin at point shouting, "This is not the Jerry Springer show." No, sir, it is not. Unfortunately, it's far worse. It's the US Congress. Green's comments also provoked a rebuttal from Representative Robert Garcia, who reminded that the gentle lady from Georgia had previously shown pics of Biden in the same room. Here it is.
Nude photos of Hunter Biden in this very committee room, showing pics in this committee room of Hunter Biden. I have my 5 minutes, gentle lady. And so I think it's really ironic, hypocritical, quite shameful that the person who's complaining about somebody leaving when she's showing nude photos of him to this committee, showing nude photos of him to this committee in this very room. And you also talk about decorum. You're talking about January 6th. Ms. Green, I was there with you when we went to the January 6th jail, and when you were hugging, high-fiving, talking to, and providing so much comfort and joy to the insurrectionists that attacked our Capitol.
Yeah. See, the Constitution actually provides a remedy. It says those who engage in an insurrection or support them cannot hold political office. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically the sentiment. But there's no appetite, not even from most Democrats in power, to actually use it. They would like to leverage it for campaigns, but to actually use it, no. Put him up. Committee chair The feckless leader I referenced earlier, James Comer, Republican out of Kentucky, would ultimately counter that the images were likely to be part of Republicans' questioning for Biden, should they ever ink an agreement for his testimony. The Republican-led committee later held a party line vote to allow the photos. The off-the-rails hearing came after Republicans launched contempt proceedings against the younger Biden last month for his refusal to comply with the subpoena for his deposition in the impeachment inquiry into his father. The Republican-led probe has relied heavily on unsubstantiated claims that President Joe Biden benefited financially from his son's foreign business dealings. Now, let me explain this on another level, because some people are saying, well, if Biden did nothing wrong, talking about Hunter Biden, and if President Biden did nothing wrong, why is it that Hunter Biden will not testify under oath? I'm going to give you the reason that likely is affiliated with the action here. Once you are under oath, the line of questioning can get bizarre. And obviously, in this context, it will, given the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene and others, where it becomes a Q&A about trying to air your dirty laundry, no pun intended, things that a person would not want to talk about in front of the US Congress. You see, when you eliminate the good faith element of the rules connected to testimony, engagement of the evidence, once you eliminate that, it becomes a circus. And that's exactly what he walked into. Hunter Biden has repeatedly refused for a closed door deposition, arguing that it would give Republicans a chance to railroad him by distorting what is actually said in the meeting. Instead, he and his lawyers have repeatedly offered to answer questions publicly, put him up at, as the Beast notes, in the wake of the chaotic hearing, Mr. Lowell, an attorney for Hunter, accused Republicans of trying to, quote, use him as a surrogate to attack his father. The attorney said further, his 6 offers were made to Republicans for Hunter to provide testimony, but to no avail. More nonsense from Marjorie Taylor Greene would occur yesterday, per NBC News. Greene filed a complaint Wednesday alleging criminal misconduct by DA Fani Willis, the woman who was prosecuting Donald Trump on behalf of the people of Georgia. Marjorie Taylor Greene is trying to get that vice presidential nod. Hardcore. It's amazing. This is how you run for political office today. All right, there's more. Put them up. The vocal Trump ally requested a criminal investigation into DA Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, who is representing the DA's office in the Georgia RICO case, after the salacious filing on behalf of Trump co-defendant Michael Roman to dismiss charges alleged the two of them were having an improper relationship according to the motion. What Greene called an illegal conflict of interest. It's not how it works, by the way. Now, I said this on day one. The entire motion lacked legalese, it lacked evidence. It was done on the last day when you can file a pre-trial motion, but it was done to do exactly what is happening right now. You don't think these individuals had conversations? You don't think this is a 1-2 combination? Of course it is. They needed an opening. The motion provided an opening. What's the argument of the attorney? The attorney is saying that all charges should be dismissed because perhaps, maybe based on a rumor, the DA and the special prosecutor, they had or have an inappropriate professional relationship that is personal, which means, if true, they have violated an office policy. A violation of an office policy is not, in fact, a violation of a constitutional right of a defendant. A violation of an office policy is not, in fact, a violation of a statutory legal right of a defendant. 2 grand juries, one special purpose grand jury and the second normative grand jury, allocated the charges specifically, one by recommendation, the other one by true bill. These things are constitutionally mandated in the state of Georgia. Those things have already happened. There's more, all right? NBC notes, Willis has not responded to the claim in either court filings or through requests for comment. Green's referral has been submitted to Georgia Governor Brian Kemp and Attorney General Chris Carr. Now, to keep everything transparent, Chris Carr, the Attorney General, is the one who has the constitutional right to appoint a special prosecutor if there is malfeasance found. But to drop the charges is utterly insane. Green notes that invoices submitted by Wade to the DA's office total nearly $700,000 in official funds and include one billing in November 5th, 2021, quote, for 24 hours on a single day, and another for 2 trips to Washington, D.C. The allegations suggest an unlawful partisan pattern to illegally politicize and weaponize her public office against Trump ahead of the 2024 presidential election. She writes, blah, blah, blah. You do realize it's Trump who actually is making the argument it's okay to weaponize the presidency against other people. He's the one who tried to do it while being president. And his attorneys have recently argued that even if Donald Trump ordered the assassination of a political rival, it would have been covered under immunity unless or until he was impeached, convicted. There's more. Green argues that if proven true, these actions reflect Fani Willis the serious lawlessness, including potential violation of public oath and other Georgia statutes. Roman's filing, which calls for Willis, Wade, and the DA to be removed from the case, the DA's office, does not provide direct evidence of his claim. There's no evidence of a romantic relationship presented in the motion between Willis and Wade, citing only, quote, sources with knowledge, end quote. Hell of a thing. This is what happens when you prosecute a very powerful, politically connected, wealth connected, and let's just call it for what it is, racist connected individual in America. Everything becomes important, even things that should not be. There's a reason why relevance matters inside of a judicial proceeding. Jordan, thoughts here?
Nobody ever accused Marjorie Taylor Greene of being smart or ideologically consistent, but it is really funny to see her demand the release of these nudes and claim that Hunter Biden's personal private behavior somehow reflects on his dad's corruption. And that's, there's some link there, but we don't see any evidence whatsoever for this alleged romantic relationship. But nevertheless, they should just be removed from the case. She makes a mockery of the entire institution. Not even that the institution is really worth a lot of respect right now. It's a total circus. The Republican Party especially is fueling that. They're totally in disarray. And I think Democrats really need to seize on this nightmare scenario that they've created where people who just get all of their political opinions and information from Facebook memes and have totally been fried going down conspiracy rabbit holes are now members of Congress. They really need to do a better job synthesizing that and messaging that to the broader political base, because it's really unfortunate that she is somebody who continues to maintain relevancy in American politics when she just does not know what she's doing or what she's talking about and is really only there for theatrics.
Yeah, and that's her job because she's good at it. She's bad at the other stuff, so she is gravitating to her strength, not a weakness.